This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to Isha Training Solutions. So we will wait for another 2 minutes for others to join, and then we will start our demo session. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to Isha Training Solutions. So this is Saravanan Srinivasan. So I have close to 13 years of experience in this field. I have knowledge on various APM tools like AppDynamics, Dynatrace, Neuralink, CAAPM, Datadog, like that. I know various performance testing tools as well: LoadRunner, JMeter, NeoLoad, Performance Center, like that. And I worked with multiple technology, multiple customers, multiple industry level experience. So what we are predominantly going to do in this course journey is that, like, we are going to have the end-to-end knowledge of this APM tool, AppDynamics APM tool. So we'll go into the course content details. What are all the things that we are going to learn as part of this course journey? So please feel free to ask your questions anytime, whatever the question that you are having, because here we wanted to discuss, this is the course content that we are going to cover, and you are going to have that understanding. And if you feel like anything has to be clarified, stop me at any point of time, ask your questions, get it clarified, and then we'll move on to the next discussion. That is how my usual usual way of discussion would be. I always encourage like that. So basically, before even going to the course content explanation, so usually in our course journey, we wanted to bring in things like hands-on, okay, practical experience, okay, instead of only theoretical understanding. I wanted to bring in the practical understanding. You should have that confidence before you are going for any real world working. You should have that confidence. So we will bring that confidence by having a hands-on experience, and all the course content details available here, right? We wanted to do it practically, learn it, and we'll also share the artifacts wherever it is required, and then we'll learn this APM tool. Okay, so we'll go into the details of this course content. The first one is, what are APM tools? Because mostly what is happening, like many people, those who are working in this industry, they did not have the understanding of this APM tool itself, because they'll say like, no, I don't know, I never come across this kind of a tool, like that. Usually people will reply. So we wanted to bring that understanding, what is APM tool, okay, what are all the capabilities of this tool, like that. We will discuss that, okay. APM tool mean what are all the capabilities, like that we will discuss. And then, why APM tools are required to be learned by performance testers? Because, see, I'll tell you, maybe APM tools mostly related to performance metrics, like that, it is there. that is the reason mostly performance testers are actually learning this tool. But it is not very mandatory that performance testers alone can learn this. No, not like that. Anybody can learn it. Developer, performance tester, performance engineer, system support engineer, anybody can learn it, provided what capability that they are going to use it, what feature that they are going to use it. Okay, so in that way we are going to get that understanding who will do what. In that, what performance testers can also do it. Okay, performance testers activity is related to this. So what performance testers will basically do using this APM, that understanding also we are going to get. Okay, I'll take a pass here. Anybody have any question? You can ask your question, please. Yeah, so please feel free to ask your question, guys, because you are going to learn this tool and you are going to use these process and procedures in your organization application. So you should have a thorough understanding of what are all the capabilities or the features. Okay, because I'll tell you one thing. Sometimes what will happen, even customer will ask you like, can you propose a tool for doing these activity. So first of all, you should be confident enough to propose any tool, which means that you should know all the features available in the APM tool. Then only you can propose any tool to the customer. So please feel free to ask questions and then get the clarity. And I'll tell you one thing. Nowadays, if you go and read any job descriptions, I mean, mostly performance testing job descriptions, definitely one APM tool will be there in the list. Definitely, okay, one APM tool will be there in the list. So that's the reason nowadays everybody started learning these APM tools. So knowing and learning these APM tools will be a value add, guys. Okay, so that's the reason I'm telling it, like at least start learning any one APM tool which will be useful for your future activities. Okay, so coming back. So yes, Dipti.
Hi. Actually, I have a question. Uh, this sessions, whatever is going to happen, like, do we cover dashboard creations like for servers and for endpoints? How to configure service endpoints? How to map them in the dashboard metric mapping
See,
and
dashboard.
troubleshooting if we are not seeing any endpoint.
Yeah, that's what. Say they, as such, the word that you are using, right, endpoint, that will not be available. But we are creating dashboard. Okay, I will show you how to create dashboard, how to configure different metrics, how to analyze it. All those things will be there. Even how to monitor the business transactions, and how to do call graph understanding, how to analyze it, the bottleneck is related to business transaction, or the bottleneck is related to server, or the bottleneck is related to DB. Like that we will be discussing it. Okay, yeah, I'll one more time I'm repeating, endpoint can be anything. Okay, here in my core journey I will explain one endpoint with the proper detailed root cause analysis. I will explain. But the endpoint is usually, you are in the way that you are saying, I could understand it is something like web services or REST services you are talking about. Okay, okay, that web services, REST services we are not doing, but there is a endpoint. Any application, whenever you are doing a business transaction capture, right, the main URL will be called as endpoint URLs. Okay, which means that is actually going to get the data from the server. So that endpoint URL we are covering it. But if you as such asking for REST API configuration, we are not covering it. But if it is application level endpoint, we are still covering it. Clear,
Yeah, it's
Deepti?
application level endpoint only. Actually, that's my real time issue which I'm going through in my current project. So that's the reason I'm planning to take this course. So
Okay.
if my purpose is not served, then it is, I mean, like, so I'm just asking before that, okay, my
That
questions will be answered in this course.
yeah, that's what your question is. If it is related to dashboard creation, yes, it is covered
It is
with
not
all.
only like dashboard creation, it is like troubleshooting if you're not seeing, maybe if you configure an endpoint,
Hmm.
application endpoint, and you're not seeing it in the metric mapping. So how you will, troubleshoot it. That's also what I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
for.
Troubleshooting part also it is covered. Okay, there is a from the flow map, from the business transaction, from the endpoints, we will start our investigation. We'll go to call graph. We will go all the detailed level. We will be explaining it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, guys, like how we are going to cover is that like we are going to have a sample application. There are two sample application I will provide. Okay, two sample application. One application is a Java based application. Another one is a Node.js based application. Okay. So Java application, even I will explain like how to set up the Java application and how to set up the Node.js application, and then how to configure Java agent, and then how to set up Node.js agent. And once these agents are configured, the data, how it is actually coming to App Dynamics, all the performance related metric, how it is actually coming to App Dynamics. In App Dynamics, we are going to see like the same, whatever she mentioned, right? Like endpoint URLs, business transactions, and then you are going to do the investigation, say like which transaction is actually taking more time, and then navigating to the next screen, and then you are going to do a important concept that is available in App Dynamics called call graph, the investigation. When you are doing a root cause analysis, there is a process called call graph. So how you are going to use the call graph? There are two call graphs are there. Okay, the type uh, partial call graph and then call graph. Partial call graph and then call graph. Partial call graph means what? You are getting partial information about your problem statement. That is partial call graph. Call graph means what? You are able to fully understand what is the problem statement. So using App Dynamics, we are going to use the capability called call graph, and then we are going to reach to the individual component level and then identify the root cause. So all those things are actually covered in our course journey through the sample application that I am providing. I will share this dump file. I mean the installation file and everything through Google Drive. Okay, through the Google Drive, I will share all the dumps, so you guys can configure in your local machine itself. So you can play around with this sample application. I mean your Node.js application and then Java application, so that you guys learn things practically. And wherever you are blocking, no problem. We both will connect and then we can resolve the problem. But what we are trying to bring in here is that like we wanted to learn things practically. I mean, set the things in your local machine, configure things, configure agent, get the data, do the investigation, identify the bottleneck. Like that we are going to learn everything. Clear, guys? Anybody have any question? Yeah. So we'll provide one App Dynamics introduction. Like I mean, what is this tool is for? What are all the other competitors in the industry? Where they are actually good in what capability, what feature? Like that we are going to discuss. And then in App Dynamics there are two deployment models are there. One is SaaS based model. Another one is on-premises model. Software as a service SaaS model, and then on-premises model. So we are going to get that understanding. What is SaaS model? What is on-premises model? Who will prefer SaaS model? Who will prefer on-premises model? Like that, we will get the understanding. When we are going for SaaS model, what are all the things? when we are going for on-premises model, what are all the things you need to get the clarity based on maybe you are working for so and so customer, what deployment model that you wanted to propose it to the customer, like that we are going to discuss. So that also we are going to learn it. And then the next important thing, learning AppDynamics means this is very important topic, application agent configuration. Application agent, okay. When you are trying to learn AppDynamics, you should know about these agent informations. So one more thing I wanted to tell you here, usually what will happen in the real world, what will happen, somebody will do the agent configuration. Somebody will do the agent configuration. The performance testers will only work on the application. I mean, work on the AppDynamics. But here it is not like that. In our course journey, we are trying to do the end-to-end activity. I mean, you will be learning like how to do the agent configuration, how the data is actually coming to AppDynamics, and how to do the investigation. All those things we are going to learn from the end-to-end full stack perspective. Okay, we are not only learning post configuration, we are also learning pre-configuration things as well. I mean, how you are going to do your agent configuration. So what I thought is that, like, I wanted to bring you different flavor, guys. Okay, different flavors. That's the reason what I did is that, like, I did it like this. Look at here in this list itself, there are two application agents are there. One is the Apache Tomcat server deployed application monitoring, and then Node.js server deployed application monitoring. So which means that what? There are two application agent flavor that I wanted to bring in. So we are going to see when you are installing this Java agent, I mean, how to do the Java agent configuration. That is a primary step. Post configuration of the Java agent, what are all the metrics that are coming? I mean, Java related metrics that are coming. How to do the investigation if it is a Java based application. Okay, so that one we are covering, and the next one is Node.js application. We have our sample application called ExpressCart. So we are going to use that ExpressCart Node.js application, and we are going to do our investigation. Here also, initial step would be configuration of Node.js server, and then how the data is actually coming, how investigation happening, all those things we are going to learn. So that is the other part. And then we are going to learn one more agent called server agent configuration. In the older term, I mean, in the previous version of AppDynamics, they used to usually they used to call that as machine agent. Machine level, I wanted to get that understanding. What is that machine level? I'm going to get that understanding means what? Say, like, you are going to get CPU level, memory level, disk level, network level, like that. You wanted to get that understanding. You are going to use the machine agent configuration. Machine agent. Application agent will give you business transaction level, error level, exception level, HTTP level, even endpoint level, call graph level, like that. It is going to give you certain understanding if it is an application agent. Machine agent means what? It is going to give you on the infrastructure level, CPU level, memory level, disk level, network level, like that. You are going to get them infrastructure level. You are going to get that understanding. So that agent also we are going to learn. Okay, that agent also we are going to learn. And then next one is database agent. Database, because we all know most of the production outages are actually related to database and database related things. So it is obvious that you need to definitely monitor your database layer. So we wanted to bring that understanding how your database layer would be monitored. So I wanted to have at least a different flavor in that. So we are going to learn two database agents. One is MySQL DB monitoring and then MongoDB monitoring. Okay, MySQL DB monitoring and then MongoDB monitoring, which means that what? How you will install MySQL database in your local machine, and how you will configure AppDynamics database agent, AppDynamics database agent, and then how the data is actually coming back to AppDynamics UI, and how you are going to do the further investigation, like that we are going to learn. That is one thing. Similarly, MongoDB, how you are going to configure your DB agent in MongoDB, and when you are doing certain activity, how the data is actually captured in app dynamics, how further investigation can be done, like that we are going to see database agent as well. Okay, I'll take a pause here. Anybody have any question till now?
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Jagdish.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah, sir. How to monitor servers in this app Dynamics?
That's what, Jagdish, we are going to install one machine agent. Okay. I
Okay.
mean, if you are installing that machine agent, it will
Okay.
capture the CPU utilization, memory utilization, disk utilization, and then network. All those things
Okay.
will be monitored, Jagdish.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Jagdish. So, any other question, guys? Yeah. So the next agent is user experience agents. User experience agent. So this is very, very important, guys. This user experience agent nowadays getting very important focus, because this user experience is nothing but the end user, whenever they are launching their application in browser, right? Chrome browser, IE browser, like that. When they are launching their application in browser, right? How your application is actually behaving, how your application is actually behaving in browser. I mean, how the static components, or how the your web page components that are loading, that client side or browser side metric that you are trying to capture, right? That is actually your user experience agent will do. Okay, user experience agent, what it will do, say very simple, guys. App Dynamics will provide a chunk of JavaScript. A small chunk of JavaScript will be provided by App Dynamics. What we have to do, we have to instrument that JavaScript inside the HTML page of our application. Inside the HTML page of our application, we have to configure this JavaScript. Post instrumentation, when you are launching our application, anyways, inside the HTML page, our agent is there, right? Whenever you are launching our page, the agent will collect the data related to your browser level components. Okay, and then the data will be displayed in your App Dynamics UI. So now you are going to measure the UI layer, I mean the browser layer also, along with your regular application level data, database level data. You are trying to get the flavor of your browser component level response time as well. So which means that user experience agent will be used to capture your browser metrics, your client side metrics. Okay, so in App Dynamics, that can be in that tab, there are two explanation will be there. One is your real user monitoring, and another one is synthetic monitoring. Real user monitoring means what? When you are launching the application in browser, when you are launching the application in browser manually, as a human, you are manually launching things and then you are doing the activity, right? That is actually real user monitoring. Synthetic monitoring means what? You are configuring a job in App Dynamics, which means that you need to launch so and so URL from so and so location, like that. If you are configuring a job, so yeah, on behalf of you, App Dynamics tool will do that activity. App Dynamics tool will do that activity, launch the application, capture the metric, and all. App Dynamics tool will do it. That is actually the automated way of doing things, right? That is actually called as synthetic monitoring. Okay, so we are going to see the real user monitoring example, and then we are going to see synthetic monitoring example. Like that, we are going to see the detailed explanation of this user experience agent. I'll take a pass here. Any question? Actually, everybody should know this. Why we are giving this much of a importance for this user experience agent? Because our performance testing tools, it is not providing your browser metrics. Our performance testing tools are not providing the browser metrics. It is only providing HTTP layer, I mean server level response times only. It is actually providing browser level metric. Your performance testing tools are actually not providing. That's the reason nowadays customers are very much focused on getting these level metric. Okay, I'll ask this question in the forum. Why performance testing tools are not providing these browser metric? Anybody can answer. Why performance testing tools are not providing the browser level metric? Any idea? Any idea why performance testing tools are not providing browser level metric?
We cannot take out the what is a client level performance from a performance testing tool. We can take only the server level stuffs.
Yeah, good, Arvind. That is what. What is the reason I'm asking?
Reason like any performance testing tool will be majorly focused only on the response times and throughputs and stuff. And if you go for any kind of APM metrics, we'll be able to get a deep dive understanding of like what causes like increase or decrease in the response time, how the logs are there, and what is a kind of a perfect root cause analysis. Those things can be easily identified and in any kind of an APM tools.
Professional, yeah, very good. Professional, yeah. So you answered nicely. I'll maybe give this same view to others, those who are there in this forum. We wanted to bring them as well to the par what we are actually discussing. Okay, so I'll show a small picture. I have my browser. I have my physical server. Okay, physical server. This is my browser. This is my browser. This is my server. Okay, so those who are doing performance testing already, they have certain understanding about this, but even then I'll try to explain this. So all your performance testing tools, it's kind of a man in the middle. Man in the middle is like proxy server. If you're trying to use JMeter also, it is a proxy server. Through the proxy recording only you are doing the recording. Okay, so what will happen during the recording? What you guys will do during the recording? You will trigger, you will request something in the browser. During the recording, you will request something in the browser. Okay, the request will go via this proxy, I mean your tool. Okay, the request will go via your tool. What your tool will do while this activity is actually happening, it will try to read the request while the browser is actually giving the request, right? Your browser will read the request. I would say like it is a recording request, right? While it is actually recording the request. Okay, it is recording the request. Okay, and then what it will do, it will send the request to your physical server. So what physical server will do, the request is there, so physical server will process the request and it will send back the response. Your physical server will send back the response. Okay, so what it has to come via the tool again, right? It has to come via the tool again. So what your tool will do again, it is like recording response. It will record the response as well, because it is getting the response from the server and it is going via your performance testing tool, and then it is reaching to your browser. Yes, all the activities that are happening. Okay, this is actually happening during your script recording. Those who are doing performance testing, those who are preparing their script, right? This is how everybody will do. Everybody, what they will do, they will browse, they launch the browser, and the script will be recorded in performance testing tools. This is a regular procedure. Okay, this is how your script recording is actually basically happening. Anybody have any question in this? How this is actually happening? Any question in this? So this is what we are typically doing during the recording. During the recording, this is what is actually happening. Okay, okay. I'm done with the scripting. I wanted to replay the script. Okay. So while replaying the script, okay, this entire activity will not happen. Okay, while replaying the script, this entire activity will not happen. What is that will not happen? This layer is not there. This layer will not be there. This layer will not be there. What will happen? The tool is already having a request, because during the recording, it captured the request. Okay, the tool is already having the request. So what tool will do? That recorded request is there, right? It will try to give it to your physical server. The recorded request is there, right? It will try to give it to your physical server. As usual procedure, your server will process the request. And then it will send back the response. This is actually called as what? This is actually called as replay response, right? Okay, so we have one recording response and we have one replay response. What tool will do? Tool will compare the recorded response and replay response. Whether it is equal, pass it. If it is not equal, fail it. That is how your performance testing tools are actually working. Okay, while you are replaying, the request will be going to your physical server and it will provide the response. And you have two responses. One is recorded response, another one is replayed response. If both are same, your script is passed. If both are not same, your script is failed. That is how your performance testing tools are actually working. Okay, while doing the replay, this is what is actually happening. So in this case, what is actually happening, guys? In this case, what is actually happening? Your browser related components, loading, all those things are actually missing. Your performance testing tools are actually not doing this kind of an activity. It is only simulating or superimposing whatever the script that are captured during the recording phase. Whatever the things that are captured, right, it is actually superimposing. That's all. It is not simulating the browser related concepts and all. Everybody able to understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ranjan, thank you. So Arvind, we are getting the clarity right now, right? Like why I'm saying your browser related things are actually missing.
Yeah. And basically you are trying to say like it will not capture the any kind of JavaScripts or any CS files which will be captured when you are trying to replay it.
Exactly.
It will be there in the script and
CSS, JavaScript, static components. Those are the things we are not focusing. Sometimes even people in JMeter and all, you have an option called exclude. You can exclude those components. While doing the recording itself, you have the option to exclude it. Or there are times if you go and see in LoadRunner scripts, though the static components are actually replayed successfully, but if you go and see the response, I mean, it will not be there. It will not be there. The replay log, if you see, it will not be there because those are not requested from the server at all. It is actually locally cached.
Yeah, correct. And more of the cases, like we might be putting it in extras when we might comment it also in some of the cases. And
based on the customer need. Yeah, correct. Correct.
Yeah.
So that's actually case to case, but in general, this is the logic. Yeah,
Yeah,
in
correct.
general, this is the logic. Yeah. So even someone can claim with me, sir, there is a protocol called TrueClient protocol, sir. It will actually provide the end-to-end response time, sir, like that. Somebody can claim with me, but it is not still what we are expecting. Even the TrueClient protocol will only give you the response time. It will not give you what happened to the individual component, what happened to your DOM interactive or visually complete, or your load event start, load event end, like that. It cannot provide a individual component level response time and all. It will not provide. Even the TrueClient protocol will not give that, because it is working on the concept of page loading. Okay, it is working on the concept of page loading. So it that is not going to still serve what we are actually expecting. So what I'm on a high note, what I'm trying to say, in order to get a detailed information about your browser related metrics, you can go with APM tools, which will be very useful, and the root cause analysis also very useful. So that's the reason every customer nowadays, they started focusing on these kind of an activity, instead of, because your performance testing tool is not capable enough to provide that. So they started looking into the alternate options. So in that, APM tool is also one such option. Okay, everybody clear with this? That's the reason end user experience is very important, I'm saying.
So I have doubt here. Actually, before this APM tools, some UI testing was done, right? Some performance testing of UI was happening. So how they were capturing the page rendering time? Suppose they enable all CSS, JavaScript in their script, but while the response, how they are capturing the page rendering time, or means overall page loading time before APM tools?
So see, yes, there are single user performance monitoring tools are there. Okay, GT metrics, web page test, Lighthouse, page speed insight, Slow. These are the tools they earlier used. Okay, yes, it is used, but not to the detailed level, because all these tools are landing page level. Landing page, google.com, flipkart.com, amazon.com, like that. Through the landing page level, you can get it, and to an extent you can go to the next page. To an extent, I'm not saying like completely automated flow. To an extent you can go. So yes, there are pros and cons are there with those tools as well. So that's the reason people are preferring these APM tools, because don't think like I'm telling too much things about APM tool. But why? APM tools are single solution for multiple problem. Okay, single solution. Database problem, yes, APM tool. UI user experience, yes, APM tool. Application level, yes, APM tool. Infrastructure, yes, APM tool. That's the reason I'm saying this one. Yes, there are individual tools. You can go with single user performance monitoring tools. You can go with profiling tools. You can go with infrastructure monitoring tools. You can go with database monitoring tools, like that. There are separate tools are still available. I'm not denying it. I'm not telling anything, because those tools are still available, which is actually independently doing all those things, all those activity. But here we wanted to bring in one tool for all solution, all problem statement. That's the reason APM tools are becoming very famous now. Clear, Shravan?
Yeah, clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for your question. So yeah. So we are going to learn alerts and response. There is a intelligence that is actually available in AppDynamics. So how we are going to leverage that intelligence, how we are making things automated. So that we are going to see under this alerts and response. And then we are going to learn about thread dump and heap dump, how you can trigger it in AppDynamics. And my personal thing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to teach you like how to analyze heap dump, how to analyze thread dump also. It is not usually part of the AppDynamics things, but I wanted to explain because you guys should understand, and I wanted you guys to become a performance engineer. So that's the reason I'm going to explain like how heap dump analysis and thread dump analysis can be done. And then we are going to learn how to create dashboard, how to create reports different dashlets, how you can add it and how to analyze it, all those things we are going to learn. And there is one more important topic called call graph investigation, how you are going to do the investigation, how to analyze the problem statement, like that we are going to do. And then there is a capability called REST API. Okay, so I'm going to use Postman tool to use AppDynamics REST API, and how to extract the data, like that we are going to do the investigation. And then we are going to learn load runner JMeter integration. I mean, when you are triggering a script in load runner, when you are triggering the script in JMeter, how the data is actually coming in AppDynamics, that also we are going to discuss. And then there is important concept called baselining. AppDynamics will prepare a baseline, and our current data is above or below to that baseline. That also we are going to learn. And then tips and tricks, real world example, Q&A session, everything is there. So these are the topics that we are going to learn in detail with the practical example. Okay, in a real world example, we are going to learn all these things. Okay, so those who really wanted to be part of this learning course journey, okay, so please reach out to Kumar sir. This is Kumar sir number. Okay, 8019952427. Okay, so I'll maybe just a minute. I'll copy paste this number in the chat. Okay, you guys can take it. This is Kumar sir number. Okay, 8019952427. I'll even paste the number here in the display screen. Okay, so you guys can still take it, like 8019952427. Okay, yeah. Hope you guys are able to see this. 8019952427. You can talk to Kumar. You can talk to Kumar. You can discuss about timing, course content, artifacts related, commercial related, anything you wanted to discuss, you can discuss to Kumar, 8019952427. So all these videos are actually recorded. Okay, all these videos are actually recorded, and we will share through YouTube playlist URL. This is actually, you are going to have lifetime access. All these videos are lifetime access. Even after completion of this course journey, anytime you can watch the video. Sometimes if you are unable to attend the class, you can watch the video, get the clarity, and even you can connect to me later if you are still having any questions. Okay, so that we can do. All the artifacts, softwares, dumps, all those things we are sharing through Google Drive. Okay, we will share through Google Drive, so you can download it and then do the setup and all. This is a time slot. Okay, 7 to 8 Indian time. Okay, 7 to 8 Indian time, we are going to learn AppDynamics, and 1 hour of session every day, 1 hour of a session. And we are planning to have 13 plus hours of a session. 13 plus hours of a session we are going to have it. And this is a weekday session, weekday, Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday holiday, Saturday, Sunday holiday, Monday to Friday we are going to have this session. So those who are interested to proceed with this course journey, please reach out to Kumar sir for any further information. So I repeat again, we are going to have practical learning of this tool. We are going to share all the sample application, dumps and artifacts through Google Drive. And all these videos are actually recorded, and we will share the video on a daily basis. These videos you are going to have lifetime access. Anytime you can watch the video and then come up with your questions, we can discuss. Okay, so those who are really interested, you can reach out to Kumar sir. Any question till now, guys? If you do not have any further question, thanks everyone for giving me this opportunity to take this demo session. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks all. Bye bye.